Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful Thursday. So traditionally that means volatility, yet it has been pretty dead. So we're going to go over the charts. The camera, the forward-facing camera is not hooked up. My normal one, Max has already asked. So before anyone says anything in the chat, it's just going off the computer one over here. So it's just for today, and we'll go back to the other one tomorrow. But hopefully you guys are well enjoying this range on Bitcoin. That's really what we're doing right now, is kind of stuck in a range. That doesn't mean we can't look at broader targets. And let me know what you guys think of the thumbnail. I put actual effort into these, and I'm pretty happy with this one. Max says that he's going to get it blown up and put on his wall. Something for him to probably wank to before bed, not to get too off the rails there, but I just thought that was a good one. So every creator has their hoe phase, as I say, and that's what we're doing here. We're looking for clickbait. All right, let's jump into the charts. Unless, per the usual, Max, do you have anything to add, or are we working with a blank slate again?
Never have anything to add.
That's fair. That is fair. There are 11 of you guys in here. I'm gonna do something I never do. Do me a favor, like the video. That's all I want. That's all I ask from you guys. These are literally the most in-depth free breakdowns on price, in my opinion, that you can get anywhere on YouTube. I would say you can't find another creator that goes this in depth, both through the price action on the chart and then order flow and open interest with XO charts. So yeah, do us a favor, support the channel. Rant over. Let's jump into the price. So you can see that I've got a key level up here that was 24.7, 25.211. This is going to be more of a broader target video. We'll talk some day trades though here in a little bit, but let's make sure that we cover the high time frames, right? So we did do something. So statistical targets, what were we referencing in the title of the video? Well, as you guys know, I like to track a lot of things, and it starts with things like the yearly pivots, that I have my own hand generated ones like the 6 month. We have the caveman. We have several of them. I also do a 60-day, and we have hit our 60-day for price on Bitcoin. So now we should be looking at that and saying, okay, we just closed a session. We just closed off the first sixth of our year, that first 2 months of price action right here. Okay. And you can see that we have not come down to the value area low of our range. And if you looked at February, you would see the same thing, that it's just beneath you still. Now, the average of price for that section of price, or this section of price here, comes in all the way down at 21,659, which is right in line with some targets we were already discussing in terms of local targets at like 21.8 area. So 21,659 is going to be the mathematical level that we're looking for in terms of stats, right? We know that these fill during the next session at a certain rate. I don't have the 60-day rate off the top of my head. I'd have to look, but I can tell you that I normally don't track these if they're less than 70%. So anything over 70% is worth noting. And then it's a matter of, can I get positioning to reach that level, right? So that's it. And will it provide a bounce? That's the question. Do we have other things there to support the bounce? So straight away, we're looking at that. And then of course, the regression, right? So we now have our trend for that entire 60 days of price. We cut it off at the end of the 60 days. We don't keep going into this data because that's a quarter's data, and we're looking for just the first 2 months. Okay, so the first 2 months have said that we're at the regression support. So we are at support. And one of the key levels that I've got on my charts is the monthly open for this month at $23,134. All right, so this is your most local horizontal support, in my opinion. You could really dice this one up a lot. There's a lot of support here. And the reason I say that is, and we're going to talk a little bit about Dixie here in just a second, the DXY, we really could dice this up a lot. And what I mean by that is you've got your caveman pivot here. So price at 23,425. It's been a key level for us. You can see how we're settling up on that now. Got your monthly open here. Your previous month EQ is here at 23,361, also serving as support. So this whole little box right here, it really does need to be support, because if loss, primarily the monthly open, in my opinion, if loss, you're looking down to re-challenge that September high, your previous week low. And if lost, I think you can look for these broader targets. You'd also be breaking your trend, right? So our trend is now breaking down. And so we would start looking for that to come down to the average of price for the session, as it does reside below the range low, which comes in around 22. And then we're looking potentially even lower over time into this like 12M1 area. And then you've got this untapped February pivot. So then you're okay, will we take these lows right here, right? So these are the levels to be aware of, right? The lows, right? And I believe this is your monthly low as well, your previous month low. So it's worth noting that level there at 21,199.50. And then you've got the 12M1 here from 2021, which 20,688, if you guys recall, was the level that I gave you. Technically, or 20,688, technically it's like 20,674, I think was the actual level. And if we extend this to the right, like so, you guys will see what I mean by that. And let's make this bold. And we've covered this before, but for anyone that's new, let's really talk about this. This is a level we had identified on the breakdown when we were heading down towards this area. And we had essentially said that anytime that you're above this level, it's good. We knew this was going to be a major target for us. It was untapped at the time. And we know that in Bitcoin's history that only one or two of those go untapped. So this was a major, major target, respected the level pretty nicely. And it became a very important inflection point in the chart. Anytime you're above it, good things happen. If you go below it, well, we usually go down to like 18K. So you can see that once you're back above it, right here, it became support. And now we're targeting the 25K zone again. So that is how I'm looking at that. So we are watching the monthly open at 23,134. If lost, I do think that while you have support beneath you still at like these lows at 22,810, I do begin to become wary of this move up potentially in this support. And I'm looking to these statistical targets, right? So that's only relevant if the monthly open is lost right here. And it kind of is my bias as the DXY is kind of pumping a little bit. So, but there's a lot to say this is important. Now, if we get more localized with it, you'll see that the previous week EQ, the previous week point of control, everything's coming in about 24K. Going to be important area to get back above. Get above 24K, these local highs right here. I think that you'll probably attempt to make a new high, not just tag the 24/7 level, which would be the target. I'd just be watching this local high right here that comes in at 24,607.50. But my inclination would be barring an SFP of this level into this region, again, this supply zone, I would be looking upwards again towards our other statistical target to the upside, which is the 12M1 for 2023, right? And we know these fill at an over 80% rate. So the thing is, though, you have a full year's session to hit this thing. So it can take time. You know, we're only 2 months in. So if it breaks down from here, it's, you know, not the end of the world, but it could end up being one of those that don't get hit. So what we always say is it's why you take profits at the obvious areas. This 25K zone was a take profit for me. Still, some of that trade is still open from 16.6, full disclosure, with targets to the 26.724 because there's been no reason to really close it. But if we start breaking down from this level, as this is becoming more and more mature, then yeah, I would start targeting these regions, and that's when these become actionable. So you're at support. What do we not do at support? We don't sell, we don't short. We look for good trading setups. And if we're looking for anything to the upside from here, where would we have to be looking towards, right? For me, I'd want to see a local change of behavior on a daily, just because we have been in this little range for a little bit here. So go ahead and put this as a dotted line, and I'm going to make it white. Actually, we're just going to keep it like so. We'll keep it like that. So you can see that this is like a little SFP of the local highs here, right around $23,688. I would like to see that level taken out and held as support. If so, well, you know, it would look good to me to make that move up. And that's right in line with, you know, getting into that 24K zone. So if 23,688 is closed above on a daily and held as support, I'm looking for that next move up over the coming days into this zone potentially. However, until then, you do have a local range here. You could very easily like break this down like so, not using any time basis or anything like that. You could just say, this is my local range. There's your value area high. There's your value area low. What did we say? Get above 20,688 or the value area high of the range. We're looking for upside, looking for downside if you're below the value area low, which is where the monthly open essentially. So very simple indeed. That's how I would be watching the local price action. That's how I'd be trading the high time frames. You start breaking down from this, you have some pretty clear targets. You know, untapped monthly pivot. You've got the 2M2 here, or the 60-day pivot that comes in there. And then we are looking down. And then we talk about this as an overall larger range, right? And so one thing to note is that you do have a pretty potentially large range here. You know, looking at this, you can see, let's go to the 4 hour for this. You can see that that monthly pivot also is in line with the value area high here. So let's get rid of this guy. And you can see your value area high is trying to hold as support. So breaking down from this monthly pivot also looks like a failure to hold the top of this local range as support, which is support here. Underneath it is a deviation. Now you're chopping around this area, kind of like, I wouldn't say it's no man's land because you have clear invalidations locally, right? That's what you're looking to do locally. However, if you start breaking down from here, you're getting back into the range, and the point of control of this range comes in all the way down here at our old 6-month average of price from the last 6 months of price between June and December. It is 19,059 or 19,150. And then if you turn on your gold pocket for that region, it's also going to be the golden pocket from high to low. Okay, so that becomes a very big area of interest. And that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. But, you know, that is right in line with the idea that we talked about where we said this could end up being a larger range like so, looking for highs to be put in somewhere at the end of February 27th to 1-to-1. We're giving ourselves that first week as well into March, kind of like to say, if this move is going to happen, we expect it to happen fairly quickly, right? So that's how I'm viewing it. Let's go to the DXY, right? DXY, he said, I'd like to see it reverse. Well, we are going to talk about that. Obviously, it got to push off of the yearly pivot here. If you go to the daily, you can see you didn't close below it. You know, you could borderline justify trying to pull a local gold pocket from here. It's not my favorite, but you could say this was your gold pocket and you held it as support, right? You wicked through it. Now it's support. But it is pointing to that you are forming some kind of a structure up here, and you have swept the previous day high, right? So in terms of what's going on here, previous day high has now been swept at 104.09. So you would look to short this if you were trading it. However, it's not the end of the day yet. So just remember that could just be a localized move. Right here, you can see you got the move down. Now you're looking to see this come back down to support at 104.775 and see if it's going to break below this like last local structure. And if so, then yeah, you can start targeting, you know, back down into this like yearly pivot range. And if you get a larger pullback, we did talk about this, your local gold pocket would be something like so. And it would be right in line with that macro blue box from the 2016-17 highs, right? That area that we'd identified previous streams without getting too far into the weeds. And this would be your gold pocket. You can see I have an alert set there, right? So that would be the pullback, which would be good for Bitcoin and would imply it might make another attempt up, right? So we'll have to see what happens there. However, if BTC can't hold this monthly open at 23,134, I would exercise some caution, and I would only trade this setup at the lows if there is a either a good reaction in the order flow, or two, a clear like swing failure pattern, you know, that just occurs like very quickly, and you can, you know, obviously spot that in order flow as well in market structure. Then I'd look at the DXY and say, where's the DXY at? Is it breaking down? I know where my next target's likely going to be this low, and then the gold pocket gives me the, you know, if I wanted to put on an intraday trade or that could turn into a multi-day swing trade, that would be the level given, right? But anything below the monthly open is kind of, I don't want to come back to these lows. I think if we do, we probably come to these targets we were just talking about. And then we have the scenario we spoke about previously, where when we started making this move, I said, we're looking for this move to occur through the end of February, maybe into March, and we'll see what happens if we get this downside trajectory. If we can come up and hit this statistical target, you know, and one thing we can do is go back to the BLX. We've talked about this before. Going back to the BLX, you can actually see these pretty clearly and see exactly what I'm talking about, where there are times that you don't hit the yearly pivot. One was here. We did come back to it. It became that support and resistance we talked about, right? Other time we did not hit it was right here in 2015. You can see that we came up short, larger range, before coming up and actually not quite hitting it, missing it by just a few percentage points, basing off of your new one. and then up it goes. So if you saw a similar situation to this would imply we remain range bound. That's why I'm showing you this scenario, because none of us have a crystal ball, but we can start to really kind of plan our range and plan our investing strategy around local price action that's going to start confirming on the higher time frames. And so we've reached a pretty big area on the chart, this 25K zone, in the timeline that we've set forth. So now we need to see, are we going to get a similar situation where we front run this pivot just like we did in 2015 and remain range bound and maybe come all the way back down into these local targets in this local range, right? And this would be the timeline for it. So that's how I'm looking at the market. That's how we're trading it. Locally, the day trades are the day trades, guys. We go over those with you here, but I do want to make sure that we're spending a good amount of time on the high time frames and talking about the importance of, being organized, but also not working off of just random data, not working off random levels, not working off random ranges. We pull our ranges certain ways. So that's the value we're trying to bring here. So I don't really have much else to talk about. Just going to turn it over to Max. I know he's got a short presentation today, and I actually have to go help somebody move today. So it's good for me. I told him I'd be there at 10:30. It's 9:35 here. So I do have just a few minutes this morning, but
I can drag this out if you want, mate.
You can go for it.
No problem there. I could just keep talking. Okay, so today has been rather uneventful. It's really not offered too many trades from, unless you were able to trade this session of the chart, this area, there really hasn't been too much to go off. Even this back test of the weekly open looks very good on TradingView, but it didn't even have any PVAs here. If we go to the 5 minute, it may have done. It did have a minor one, but if we go and look at it on the order flow, it really just wasn't giving you anything here in order to take the trade. There was no real volume in this section of the chart. There's no real conviction in order to take the trade. Yes, you've got your selling imbalance there and the shorts coming in, but the volume on it was just messing about around here. So other than that, you've not really had any trades that one could have taken. But one thing to note is during this whole move down, you can see you've had these, I'm looking at the open interest now, you can see you've had these spikes in open interest in areas on the chart where it's kind of there's no reason for people to open these huge longs here. And this is kind of the reason we've had this, rather big move down. Nothing is really occurring in these places where these huge longs have opened. And then what does price do? Well, it likes to go and take out those traders. And that's what it's done. It's just a slow drag down, trying to take out a lot of traders. One thing I will mention is that here in this candle right here, we did have something quite interesting occur. As you can see, the open interest is negative 1.7 million, but the delta is negative 7.1 million. So that means positions were changing hands during this candle. It had a lot of liquidations as well. That is a bullish sign. And also, one thing to note is we've not taken any high other than this one here where you came and back tested the weekly open. You've not really taken any highs today. So what does that mean? It means that all these positions where you've had this open interest increase with all these buying take place and not really push price anywhere, there is someone on the other side of that with a limit order. And while we are, slowly going down, we've not tested any of these highs. So all the traders that have entered in this region, gone short, have they really hit any targets that would have taken profits from? Probably not really. We've not even come and tapped the monthly open yet. So, you could get a nice move up into some of these highs to take out some of the traders that are trailing their stop loss. So, always be aware of that. And that would be the short that is given, because I do not think that what we've currently got here is the end of the move. The reason being is, yes, the volume here is negative 17, negative. Yes, the volume is 17 million, which is okay for a low. It's decent, but it could really go 50-50. But the delta and the open interest drop off just wasn't really enough for me to care for it too much. And I found a good example of a similar day that we've had. So if I go to the 30-minute chart, and look at today's price action, pretty slow and just down. If we go over here, similar day, pretty slow and just down. And what occurred to end the move you got this huge wick to the downside. This is how these days, these slow moving days when it's just going in one direction, normally end. You have to have that quick move, that quick wick to the downside to effectively end the move. Take out all the traders that were in, and the move's done. So how far down could that go? Well, obviously the weekly open, but I don't think that wick would suffice. I think it's probably going to come down and sweep the previous day low. Would be the one that you'd want to take. But you have to take profits at the monthly open at that point, unless you are being a very cautious trader and waiting for the monthly open to be reclaimed, in which case you've still got the same setup, just somewhat of a worse entry. So that's kind of what I'm expecting with what we've currently got here. A big wick down, take out a load of traders, take out any longs that stupidly didn't take profits in this whole move up. So that is what I'm currently expecting, but it doesn't get rid of the fact that we could come and take some of these highs just to take out some of the shorts so that they can't profit from the same move. So for me, looking at this right now, this move isn't over, to the downside. I really don't think it is, but I'm not saying, we can't come and take some of these highs and take out some of them traders. I'm looking for that to then take me to probably the previous day low. I'm not really looking to the monthly open too much, but it is, as Magic's mentioned, it is a strong level, so certainly could be a pit stop or where it stops. But I'm not convinced that this move is currently over. You're getting a load of buyers still, and price really, it's not really giving us anything to say they're doing a great job of moving the price. You've got a ton of buyers here, open interest is going up, delta's going up, and yet price, it's still in the same spot really. So what is it, like about $50 away? No, it's $100 away. It's not really moving. So, I don't think this move is over. Is what I'm trying to get at. But pretty quick stream. I've not really got too much to go over. It's been a rather slow day. So, it's not all days are as fun as they are like yesterday. That was good fun. But this, honestly, it came up and stopped me out of my trade overnight. I was absolutely gutted. I was in such a good spot. And I was like, do you know what? I'll put my stop loss up here, thinking I'll be fine. And it literally came and tapped me out to the dollar. And then I've missed this entire move. It is what it is. But boring day after that has taken place. Magic, I'm done, mate.
Wonderful. Much appreciated. Looks like we have a question. I'll answer that before we go. I don't put any weight on any of that stuff, man. I don't care. I don't know what any of that shit is, to be honest with you. I know what Mt. Gox is, obviously. I've heard about Silvergate. I don't know much about it. I don't care about the Shanghai ETH unlock, and I definitely don't care about Celsius because I didn't put any money there. Honestly, I've, all the shorts that I've been holding for over, a good year or so had nothing to do with news, had nothing to do with any of this stuff. It had everything to do with technical analysis and taking good trades at places I knew there would be good opportunities, like not buying at the high and not selling at the low type thing. Literally that simple, following my plan. So just, I don't put any weight on it, man. I don't trade the news. That's literally going to get you bought into price has to do this because the news is this. And that is going to end up not being the case at some point, and just, it's not going to be good, So for me, I'm just going to trade the charts like I always do. Doesn't mean you can't look at the news if that's something you want. It's just not something you're going to get here, unfortunately, unless Max starts covering it for us to be our little news boy. But I doubt it.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? We just come in like, I'm fresh in today. We've got
this.
Yeah,
there you go. You need, well, you'd have to grow that mustache back out to be an anchor man. Because that's his strongest. That's his strongest facial configuration is the mustache.
True
it's
Ron Burgundy style.
It's also his only one. It's his only option. So, So it is what it is. We're gonna follow the big money. You know what I mean? So what we teach, Stacks is, and you're in the group right now. So it's one of those things where when you get to order flow, it's a very intense topic and it takes a while to learn. But the idea behind order flow isn't to be able to predict the future. What it is letting you know is it's giving you an idea of, okay, this is where liquidity lies. And I'm looking to attach myself to the larger market mover, right? When the market starts moving and you see the market maker in action, you see those buys or sells or whatever's pushing price a certain way, Your job is to attach yourself to that person and ride that trend until that trend or footprint, as they call it, disappears. And what do we use to do that? We use the footprint chart. So that's the simplest way I can word it. That is what you're trying to do as a trader, is you're trying to, ride the coattails of the market movers, because nobody on YouTube is the market mover. You know what I mean? Can groups of people move price a little? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be facetious not to think so on exchanges, but they do not control the overall price action or anything like that. You have to be able to control that through the market maker and spot that in the footprint chart. So that's how I go about it. Debate crypto in the house. I'll see you guys today at 2:00 my time. So we'll be ready for a little TA Thursday. I'm sure Bill will be on there per the usual, and we'll see who else joins us, if anybody. But all right, guys, I don't have too much else to cover or talk about, and I don't want to muddy the waters. So remember, monthly open is support. That's where we're at right now. We're at regression support as well for our 60-day. Your local gold pocket is here. That monthly open, there's a good amount of support in this region. However, if lost, we start looking down to broader targets, in my opinion. So trade safe. Don't do anything rash. Don't just be like randomly entering shorts or buys in the middle of the range, things like that. And make sure that if it's a day trade, you keep it to a day trade, right? If it's not something you're looking to swing trade, don't let it turn into a swing trade. Don't let a losing trade turn into an investment or a liquidation. It's not going to be a healthy thing. So anything to add from you, Max, before we hop off here?
All good. One thing to say on the footprint chart is, when you see all these market orders that are taking place, the people that are moving the market, they're normally limit orders. They've normally got algorithms and bots and inside knowledge that we don't know about. God mode trading is the thing. We've all heard of that rumor that goes around that some people have it. Of course they do. It's there. They know exactly the places to put the limit orders. So when you see something similar to this, where you can see a huge amount of orders being taken up, they're just building a position. Does it mean it's going to stop there? No. They can just keep going. Imagine Alameda, no fucking stop loss, no liquidation price. They can just keep going. And then as soon as they're ready, they filled the bag, then they just go, vroom. And that's where the volume comes in. So when you see stuff like this, you see a ton of buying, it's not really pushing the price anywhere. It's not really, this is why I'm saying this is a lot of buying, but the price isn't really moving. So, it's not really the market making move in it there. So, but yeah, they're hidden in the limit orders. So it's why whenever I say I like trade and trap traders, it's because that's how they like to trade. They trap traders and then wreck them. So you have to, the big thing is, trading like the market maker. So that's why the footprint chart is so useful, because you can see where traders are coming in and buying market orders. I buy market orders. Most retail buy market orders, and then we can see it, and then we can say, okay, we're going to trade against them people, and that's the benefit of using this one, because following the crowd, you're not going to make any money.
That is a very true statement. But all right, guys, I'm going to end it here because I'm going to get changed and go get ready to move some heavy stuff. I got to stop lending my services to friends on the moving thing. I actually helped them move not that long ago last year. And they were like, yeah, we're going to buy a house in June. So we'll see you then if you want to come back and help. And I was like, all right, cool. And it's fucking March. And I'm like, you guys already bought a house? They're like, yeah, the rates are going to keep going up. We thought.
You're that bitch.
Yeah. They're good people, man. They're good people.
No doubt.
So it is what it is. We'll get a good workout. Go get those guns. Man, I got the guns already, man. That's what I'm going to go use them for. I got Max on that kick with me. I reached my personal target last month for exercise. It was just one thing. And then Max said he's going to jump on a train and do some stuff with me this month. So I actually created a spreadsheet for myself to track everything daily. I had been writing it down, which is very tedious. So, oh yeah, you're over here now. Very tedious. But so we'll be tracking all of March daily to reach the goals that I have on there. And I'm sure that Max will do the same thing. So, all right, guys. Yeah, dude, just open up an Excel document or something.
Notes on my phone. We can just keep
there. You go. But all right, guys, take care. We'll see you in the next stream.